Hey, she's naked. She's looking a little skinny. Looks like a wet cat. Okay, so also as part of this process or project today, I forgot to mention, I'm going to be pulling the front cover apart on this guy. I'm going to go ahead and pull the fork cover as well, and the leg shield. So all of this is going to come off for the most part. I want to run power from the battery to a USB charger, a dual USB. That dual USB I'm going to run over here in this area somewhere, kind of behind the little cover here. And I'm going to put my USB power for the phone charger and my Garmin GPS that'll run up here following the factory harness into the little nacelle cover, you know, the front headlight cover and handlebar cover. Run it up and over here, and I'll be bringing at least one of the power connections out right here next to where my X mount is going to be for the phone. The other one, if I can figure out a clean path, I'll bring it up through here for the GPS, so it'll kind of blend in. It won't stick out too badly. Okay, so starting on the front garnish, or rather the top cover for the handlebars, so I can route my USB power through there. It's going to be a little annoying and tedious. According to the shop manual here, it says you remove the left rear view mirror. That's gone. Front garnish on page 210. That's going to be the tricky bit, I think. This is very soft plastic, so it's going to mar easily. So looking at page 210, front garnish removal, I don't know how well this is shown up on camera, but it says remove the front garnish by releasing the 2 snap fit clips and the 6 tabs from the front fork cover. Okay, so these little tabs just kind of are pressure fit in 6 places around the perimeter of this guy, and then there are 2 pop clips in the back of it that hold it in. That makes it particularly annoying and difficult to get off. I don't know how successful I'm going to be here, so if I mess up, don't do what I did. Sorry about the noise on the camera there. The proper way to do this is with a tool called a spudger, and it's a plastic tool similar to this. This is not a spudger. This is for smoothing down vinyl wrap and stuff like that. A spudger is a tool that's used for disassembling cell phone screens and whatnot. It's a real tough plastic, and you can use it to pry, and it's just a little bit harder than the plastic that you're working on usually, so it's not going to break anything or mar it up too bad. I can't find my spudgers, so I've got a couple of these flexible, you know, vinyl tools. So what I'm going to try to do is just reach in behind here. There's a clip here on each side, another clip here, and then the next ones are down there. I've just got to get them released enough to get it away from the bike, but not, you know, that one's too soft, obviously. It goes away. This is much more rigid. I can already tell this is going to mar the paint and possibly this chrome plated plastic here. Just have to get it away from the bike. How are we going to do that? I don't want to break this thing, but I do want to get it apart. I really don't want to mar up the plastic too badly. Yeah, this will be fun. Again, I'm sure somebody out there has probably done this before, and they're going, no, dude, go, do it this way instead. Unfortunately, that guy isn't here over my shoulder telling me what to do and what not to do, because it might save me some headache and some screaming and swearing. I can see the tab right there. I just can't get it to pop loose. I stuck a screwdriver in here a little earlier, and it was already kind of putting a dent in my lower plastic and messing up the paint, so I didn't go any further. I just can't get that thing away from the bike. What I need is to get that and a screwdriver in there at the same time, but there's just not enough room. Let me try the other side, see if I have any better luck. She is tight. Well, they put this thing together as a one-way item. They don't want it to come apart again. Oh, that almost got it. Let's see here. Let's turn the spudger over. Nope, not coming out. So I'm not sure what the trick to this is, other than not tearing your own fingernails off and messing up plastic tabs, and it's got to be easier than this. I just don't know what I'm doing. I've done plenty of the trim removal tricks and whatnot in cars over the years, doing professional car audio and whatnot. But usually you can use metal tools for that instead of just plastic. So this will be a trick. I'm gonna have to bang away at this for a while, and I obviously won't bore you with all those details. If and when I get this thing off there successfully, I will come back to you. Obviously the only reason I have to take this off is to get the fork cover off, and to get this cover off, that screw, that little silly screw right there, is an interference fit between this guy and that guy. So you got to get this off before you can get that out, and that is what lets this come off. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, so the way you do it is you can't be nice to it, but unfortunately I wasn't nice enough, and I did give myself a little scratch in my paint here, so that's disappointing. Yeah, typical plastic bikes. You got to be careful with the trim bits. Anyway, how I got it out was I just used, you know, the plastic tool, press in really hard and go at a diagonal and slide down, and it popped this clip loose and that clip loose. So that's as far as I've gotten so far. I need to keep this side out and do the same on the other side, and hopefully not give myself another little cut. And this cut was actually done with plastic, so this paint and the plastic is pretty soft. Gotta be careful. See if I can get this other side out while holding it with my fingers. Yeah, so you gotta get in under it. There we go. That's it. I got that side. Okay, so that's coming. Just gotta be careful with my paint here. And that's it. I feel it letting loose. That's it. That's it. Got it. I just gotta keep the flat side on my paint so I don't cut anything up. That one is not wanting to come out, and I can see the plastic distressing here, so be careful. Oh, this is one of those one-way pieces. It does not ever want to come out again. You get it on, it doesn't come off. Ah, I got it. Okay, so for anyone trying to figure out how this thing comes out of there, this is the angle of the notches. So they're facing outward, so you do have to kind of compress inward to release them. There's 4 of those, and then the 2 plastic pop clips that go into the frame here. Or not the frame, but the other plastic bits. So it came out okay. This piece didn't suffer any real damage. Unfortunately, I did give myself a hickey here, and that was, again, was done with just a plastic tool that kind of scraped at an angle like that and cut right through that paint. So super soft plastic and super soft paint. Be careful when you're taking it apart. It's a whittle bitty dinky horn. I don't think there's a lot of room to put a beefier horn in there, so I'll do that on another day. Okay, so I'm gonna cut to taking the rest of this plastic off. Okay, another word of caution. I just ran into the ever annoying Phillips number 2 versus JIS 2 bug, where these screws are not exactly a number 2. They're not American standard. That's a JIS head. This thing is in there strong enough, somebody put it in with an impact gun or something, or it's just gotten cured to this plastic. It doesn't want to let go. So I'm turning it, and it's starting to strip the head out. So it's time to bring bigger tools to bear. This little hammer drill screw gun will make quick work of it, I hope, without rounding that head out any further. Get it seated real good, give it a lot of pressure, and yeah, it's just stuck on there. You got to get an impact to break loose the friction. So I was giving it everything I had with the hand screwdriver, and it was just slowly stripping up and out, rounding out the cup there. You can see the edges of the metal giving up. Oh well. Okay, so removing the fork leg covers, whatever. This just splits here. It has got some friction tabs in there that you just kind of have to wiggle and release. Once you've got the screws up here removed and that center screw, it feels like there's just pop tabs here and here. So I'm trying to gently condense it out of there without breaking any tabs. I've almost got that one loose. I see it, I just can't quite get it. Move this stuff so I can sit down. The diagrams in the service manual never really show you the positions and angles of these clips very well, so it's always a hit or miss thing trying to figure out how they interlock without first breaking one to find out. That's annoying, because then it's going to rattle forever. Okay, it's coming loose. Is it? No. I can feel a long tab in here. I just can't figure out which way it goes, and it is very soft plastic, so it is likely going to break off on me. Yeah, I can feel it kind of hinging the wrong way. So is there another way to do this? Is there another way to do it? It doesn't say. So the front is a very positive click. It stays where you want it. The back, all I can figure is this thing rotates out this way. And again, if I break something, don't do what I did. It doesn't tell you how to do it. It just tells you where the clip locations are. And good luck to you. That's it. Okay, so it rolls back, and then you just kind of have to keep pressing your finger in on this section right here, and that's the tab. So it kind of rotates out away from this piece. So be careful, because if you pull at the wrong angle, or if you don't put enough tension on this guy, it's definitely going to snap that tab off. Okie dokie. Hey, when was it made? 6th of January 2019. Cool. Alrighty then. So these are tiny little forks on this guy, almost scooter style, where it's, you know, it's not full height triple tree, it's down low, but that's better than the old ones. So if I felt even more adventurous than I do today, which I'm not going to do, I'm just bringing it up. At some point I'm going to remove these front forks and refill them with different oil, because I'm noticing a little bit of stiction. You can see my upper limit of travel there on the fork leg. I'm going up to here, so that's probably pretty much full stroke. So you got about 3.5 inches there. All right, anyway, I'm going to put this aside so I don't scratch it. Okay, so the right side one was a little stickier, and it's got a difference to it. What I'm figuring out is it helps to get your fingers in behind where the little tab is in the top part of the fender, and press on that little tab to get it to release without stressing it too much. So this one is a little different story. It has what looks like ABS cabling or something attached to it. So it's got the horn wire and looks like the ABS sensor wire. Yeah. So the ABS sensor and that are attached to that inner cover, and I'm looking for a easy quick release, and I don't quite see one. I see the harness release here, but I want to get everything off of that panel. I'm going to need a flashlight because it's just not too dark in there. I can't quite see it. Okay, so I'll pull that apart and figure it out and get back with you. Okay, so this right side, left if you're looking at it from the front, this cover is annoying. Cut my finger on the way out here. Honda's got one of these lovely one-way little push clips that goes into this top one to secure this harness. So you just have to get your fingers around it and pull really hard and it'll pop out. This one was a bit more of a booger because it's a vertical clip, so you got to pull up on it real hard. I didn't want to damage my ABS wire, so I disconnected that and just lifted and twisted and pulled, and it popped off of this clip right here, and then cut my finger on the way, but you know, par for the course. Okay, so moving on. Running out of table space here. I got too many tools and too many pieces. Okay, so the I should remove my front fender while I'm in here, but I'm going to be doing other stuff in there at a later date. The front fender was damaged when my son dropped the bike a while back, and the back edge of it over here is cracked and scuffed, but I'm not going to mess with that today because I have to pull the front wheel for that, and I'm trying to get on the road. So back to this, the handlebar upper cover. So we got that stuff off of there. Now I'm going to try to get this off, and in order to remove the leg shield, which is this next piece over here, I'm going to have to remove the center cover that they call right here, which is the curve in front of the seat. So that's just a single screw and a bunch of pop clips. Those are going to be fun. That's also where the battery is, if I remember correctly. So I'm going to be routing my power connections for the driving lights and the USB charger and the Garmin power through this section here, up the frame, along the existing wiring, and then up into the handlebar cover. So that's the reason behind all this exercise here. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just cut to the chase. I'm going to pull this center cover out and start working on the leg shield at the same time. So I'll leave the top handlebar cover for almost last. Okay, I hope I'm getting on camera. So for the center cover here, which is an odd name for it, but we'll just let them call it what they want to call it. Okay, got some neighbors that like their horn. This is just a standard Phillips, and it seems to come out pretty easily. No impact driver needed. And then, yeah, good luck. This is going to be one of those. Yeah, How do you get that guy? Ah, there you go. You just pull at the top edge. Mash your thumb in there and don't be shy. And then I'm guessing we kind of pull upward at the same time. Yeah, just wiggle and up. Wiggle and up. Don't break any tabs. Oh man, this thing's tight. Real tight. Oh, goodness. Well then, maybe I need to get my little plastic spudger out again. I'm really wanting to avoid breaking tabs today if I can. It will not set a good tone for my trip. Wow, that thing's in there. So this is, yeah, okay, so you just lift up and out. See if I broke any. Yep, see, I broke a tab. Damn. I mean, this thing is in there. So this one goes straight in. That tab said goodbye. I don't know of any way to get that out of there. You would have to use a plastic spudger to kind of release all those tabs along the edge. So I am sans one tab now. It's going to look just like that one. Yeah. So the middle tab is super tight, so watch out for that. This is interesting. They left some kind of a little manual in here. What do we have? It's something. Oh, it's the programming instructions for the smart key. That's interesting. Well, I'm not going to take that out. I'll leave it right where it is. It'll stay right there. Okay, so my tab has gone bye-bye somewhere in there. It's broken off. Sorry, so sorry. Don't do that to your bike if you can avoid it. So that's out of there now. This should be freed up. I'm going to go ahead and remove these 5mm Allens everywhere, and then this is going to be another one of those similar situations as the front cover. It's going to be a bunch of little tension clips, and good luck on not breaking tabs. Okay, so here we go again with the plastic wedge, spudger, whatever you want to call it. I've just started pulling on this side, and I'm getting a little bit of clearance, so let's go ahead and see if we can convince it across. Yeah, there we go. And it looks like the, I don't know if you can see down in there, it looks like the clips are in the center and the bottom. So what I'm going to do is pull from the top and hope that I don't permanently damage anything. Ew, it's tight. Man, it's tight. I've got another clip somewhere that's not disengaging gracefully. I can feel it at the bottom. I don't think I missed reading that, did I? So maybe it's a good thing I didn't just go full monkey on it. That's loosened up. Had I gone full monkey, I probably would have broken the screw bosses out of this thing. So let's see what this is about. To get this cover off, there's a screw in what feels like, you know, finger pry holes. There's a screw right there, and that is holding that. So that's why I was putting so much pressure on this guy. I was actually backing it all the way out of its housing. I would have had to just break this thing clean off with what I was doing. So there's one screw here, and then this is a tension clip. All right, now we've got one screw in the center. Easy enough. That one I'm not even going to mess with trying to use a regular screwdriver because I know it's going to be in there tight. So we're just going to cut to the chase here and use the impact gun. Yep, it was tight. Okay then, that's out. Now I'll pull out those 4, 1, 2, 3, maybe 6, but definitely 4 5mm Allens. Okay, after a little prying and fiddling, I'm figuring out how to get this piece off of here. Pry it up from the bottom first to release the bottom 2 clips that are on these corners, and then go for the left side, and it appears that the top will come loose, and you can kind of convince the switch cover out of there. Kind of have to pry the leg shield away to the side to give enough clearance to get this switch cover out. So that's that piece. Lots of plastic. I'm hoping that they bring the Cross Cub, you know, the reincarnation of the Trail 110 that we had here in the United States. I hope they bring that on this platform, stripped of all the bodywork, you know, just make it a little utilitarian off-road bike. When I was pulling these guys out, I noticed that a couple of them were very loose already, and I see a little bit of rust and whatnot. When these go back in, I'm definitely putting thread lock on them because the top one on this side and the bottom one on the other side were just barely even, you know, finger tight. They were kind of backing themselves out, so definitely need thread lock on there. So I'm going to monkey this leg shield and see if I can get it off of here. Okay, I think mission accomplished. After some screaming and swearing and off-camera antics, in order to get this leg shield off of there, you have to remove these upper 2 little pop clips, and that's in the instructions. What they don't tell you is how to angle this thing out of there, and it's not easy. You have to stretch the plastic out and over the ignition switch here and get it just past that as you're lifting up at an angle like this. Then you can maneuver the other side a little bit, but the tricky bit is getting these clips all stretched out and removed, because these guys right here want to stay on a frame boss behind all that. So if you're removing the leg shield without removing the body cover, you have to kind of maneuver this, pull up and forward all at the same time, so this guy can hinge out of there. And I haven't had it totally out yet, so you're seeing it for the first time just as I am. It's tight. Rotate, try not to scratch any of the plastic that's staying behind. Okay then. So here's my scratched up leg shield. I'll pull that tape off of there, but it's real beat up along this edge where my son dropped it. So I've got the new leg shield in the garage. I'll get that out in a minute. I'm going to be reusing these lower grommets. I'm going to keep the leg shield for future projects, whatever, I don't know. Maybe as a spare if it gets dropped again. I hope I don't drop it. But at the very least, I'm keeping it for these cool Honda logos on each side. Those are awesome. And then of course the SuperCub moniker on the front. I haven't unboxed the other one, so I hope it has all the stuff on it. If it doesn't, that would suck. So I'm going to set this in the grass where it won't get further scratched. And I'll be back with you in a minute. Oh, well, before I cut, she's naked. She's looking a little skinny. Looks like a wet cat. Okay, so here's our underbone arrangement, and you can get to the throttle cables and all that stuff. So if you ever had to pull your throttle tube or your grip or any of that nonsense, this is what you would have to do, is to get the leg shield off and then release your throttle cables here, or release, you know, the tension on them. That doesn't make me real happy. Look at this. Open splices, just pinched, not soldered, and they've just got vinyl tubing over it. That's a little bizarre. I don't know what that's about. It doesn't look like typical Honda quality to me. Not sure what they're smoking there. I don't like that. It's probably to do with the smart key system. They just cut and interrupted the original wires and spliced this guy in, but I'm not real happy about that. Anyway, so my wiring for my driving lights and the USB charger, I'm going to bring up along the frame rail next to the other harness stuff here and bring it into there. Okay, here we go. Well, old leg shield, new leg shield about to be uncorked, and I do apologize. It is not quite noon yet, but I'm gonna cheat. It's 11:15 and it's really hot out here, so salud. Okie dokie. Now, I haven't had this out yet. You're getting to see the first unboxing as I am. Same time. Oh good, it comes with the logos on there. Sweet. So I got the Honda Motor logo, and oh, and it says SuperCub on the front. So brand new leg shield, replacing the damaged one. It's 200 and something bucks right there. It's listed at 238, or I don't know what it was. I think I managed to get it for $199 plus shipping, so still over 200 bucks. So I'll transfer those lower grommets onto there and try to get that thing reinstalled without scratching anything else, I hope. But that's not yet. First is going to be the wiring, so let's get that done. Okay, before I start really screaming, cussing, and breaking things, I'm not sure if I'm going to actually remove this upper cover. I'm having a lot of trouble figuring this one out. They say that to get this thing apart, I've already removed the screw down here, and there's screws in the back and screws underneath and all that. I've gotten all those out of the way, but to get this housing separated, you have to remove this lower section. It's just the lower, behind the headlight bezel here. It's this piece underneath, and it says there are two little bosses that it's hooking into in this upper cover. So you're supposed to press in and down, but yeah, right. Sure, how? Sorry for the noise. I'm a pretty smart guy, but I'm having a little trouble figuring out how to get that, because when I press in, there's no slack, there's no release. I'm not sure what you're supposed to press with or press on. I can't get that thing to slack at all. They've got the tolerance is so tight on this. It's one of those, it goes on once and never comes off again kind of a deal, I think. It just, there's no slack. It doesn't separate. I'm pressing in hard enough. I'm about to separate my thumbnail, and it's just, it doesn't give. It's locked in by some other piece of plastic, and the lower cover, they're saying you can't get that off until you get all this off. All right, so it's this piece, and then this piece has to pop out, and then you can remove the top cover. I don't foresee that happening. And judging by the panel that I already broke there, or you know, broke a tab, I'm afraid I'm going to do more damage to this than the project is worth. So I think that's just going to have to stay. Now that I've got enough access in, around, and under here, what I might do is the old coat hanger trick or something, and I'll fish my wire, or I'll fish, you know, some kind of a hook through there to grab my wire and bring it up this way for my USB cable, because I don't think I want to try to go any further with this. I'm going to break something and I'm going to get really, really pissed off. Yeah, I don't know how that comes apart. And from where I'm looking here, there's just nothing that wants to give. I'll keep banging on it, see what I come up with. I'm going to have to switch out this battery soon because it's starting to run out. But, oh great, the mosquitoes are already flying. Okay, so what I've done is I've gone in from the back and pried the top panel outward and gotten my little spudgers in there to release whatever top tabs there might be. Now let's see if I can get that bottom to pop loose like the manual's saying it does. I don't think it does. I just can't feel any slack. Oh, the spudger went flying. So I'll show you that in action here. Just get in behind it, rotate. Oh, sorry, you guys aren't seeing it. Rotate and squeeze in there. So if there is a tab, I've definitely disengaged it because I'm up as far forward as I can go. So whatever that center locking tab might be is out of the way, and it's still so tight. It's almost like there's another screw or something else on the bottom holding this guy in there. It just doesn't want to let go. Nope. That plastic don't want to let go. Sorry, you guys are looking at nothing besides my arm. And it's hot as hell out here. Alright, well, I'll keep banging at it. Okay, it's about an hour and a half later. I had to go inside and take a break because it's too friggin' hot out here. When the sun was out, it was just unbearable. Heat index is over 110, super humid. I gave up on this. There's just no friggin' way that I can figure out how to get that apart without breaking tabs or seriously mangulating plastic, and I just don't want to get in the bad mood that I know I'm going to get in if I do that. So I aborted that, skipped the whole thing. My intention was to pull the top cover off and route my wires and zip tie them and, you know, get them all pretty and happy, and no, not going to happen. So instead I'm doing the old coat hanger, or in this case pipe cleaner trick. I've got a pipe cleaner that I've managed to thread down through the inside of this guy. There's one path that I've found. I managed to hit it on the first try, and then I took it out and couldn't get it back in there for 5 minutes. But anyway, it's kind of just diagonally straight through. If you look through here, you can usually see a bit of daylight on the bottom side where it's coming out. So that's my plan, is I'm just going to thread my two cables. I'm future-proofing myself here because my current phone uses USB micro, and I'm sure anything that I get newer Android is going to have USB-C. So I'm going to run both of these guys in tandem through here, bring them up, and they're just going to come out right on the mount on this side, and I'll zip tie them up, and they'll just be at the bottom of that RAM X mount. So that's the plan. I'm going to secure one of these guys at a time to the bottom of the pipe cleaner here with some electrical tape or whatever, zip tie it, whatever I have to do, and drag it back up through here. Trying to route this thing reverse up through there, it's just not going to happen. No way. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so progress is being made. I just zip tied because I figured electrical tape probably wasn't going to hold. It was just going to pull loose, because I knew I was going to have to do some yanking and twisting. So I just doubled over the pipe cleaner here, zip tied against the base of the micro USB molded head here, and yanked it, twisted it, pulled it, pushed it, pulled it, got it to route itself through all the obstacles inside, and it worked. So now the second task is I'm just going to daisy chain the USB-C onto this cable somewhere in this range, and it's going to be even trickier because that's a wider connector, and getting it flat through here is going to be a trick. So I won't bore you with those details, but I am going to use a couple more sacrificial zip ties here for the task. Just gonna zip this guy at the base so it can't walk backwards on my cable, and then I'll zip the flat part of it to the cable so it can't spread and get thicker and try to double back. That's what this one was doing, was folding over backwards. So I'll come back to you in a minute after I have my solution. Okay, well, it was a success. As you can tell, this isn't my first rodeo with wire routing and crazy stuff with mobile electronics. So that worked. Keep in mind, I do have the screws loose on this housing, so it does move around a bit, and I can lift this up and get a little bit of room off of this left-hand mirror post here, so that helps things. Anyway, I just Siamese this cable onto the other cable and use this one as my pull string instead of this guy because it's a little flimsy, and just yanked it through. And the cables that I'm using here are Anker, A-N-K-E-R, Anker, however you pronounce it. They're really good cables. They've got extra strain relief throughout, and the USB connectors on the ends are rated for a lot of bends and really high use scenarios. So I use these a lot in my mobile gear because I know I beat my stuff up quite a bit. So at any rate, these guys are going to be down here with the USB charger. I've got a dual USB down here that I'm going to be wiring in, and this is routed up through here now. So I'm going to do the smart thing right this hot second and knot this up to where I don't accidentally pull it back through my my hole. That would really make me angry. So I got these guys, both these are on this end, and time for the next step.